Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to tonight's Zoom community gathering. Our guest is Jovanka Beckles, our representative on AC Transit, Ward 1, I guess.
Ward
And
one.
I would like to ask you to please tell us more about yourself, introduce yourself, and then tell us all about AC Transit, current services, and
Yes.
everything we need to know. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation, and really is a pleasure to meet all of you. And I'm wondering if since it's such a small group, would folks mind introducing yourselves and yeah, where you live, do you live in the area? I'd love to hear a little bit about you. So, of course, I know the council member, Sohelia. And then let's see, Mrs. Nahid, is that right? Did I pronounce your name right? Mrs.
Yes.
Nahid?
Yes.
Nahid and other friends, if you're comfortable with introducing yourselves, please go ahead. You don't have to.
You don't have to. Yeah. Just like to know who.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. My name is Nahid. I am like 2 door down from Sohela.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been here for about 21 years
Okay.
in this area.
All right. Very good. Thanks for being here. And then I guess to my right, Kurt.
Hi, yeah, I've been in El Sobrante for over 10 years. Before that, I was in Berkeley. So I've got used to working with the system.
Yes. All right. Thanks. Very nice to meet you in person. And I see then the next one below is it Sif? Did I pronounce that right? Sif? Okay. Maybe okay. I'm gonna go on to, let's see, is it Zia?
Hi, yes, I'm Zia Horowitz. I live in the Carriage Hills neighborhood of Richmond, so kind of the farthest east you can get. That's still city of Richmond. Been
Okay.
in Contra Costa County for 40 years and this particular home for 20 years.
All right. Thank you. And then Rennie? Is Rennie around? Maybe Rennie's.
Rennie, do you mind telling us about yourself? You don't have to, of course, but
No, I'm a little technologically challenged, so I'm not good with digitally things. So I've lived in El Sobrante since 1991, and I live just off of Dam Road between Appian and Castro Ranch, and having bus access is important, and I don't know what's going to happen, but we are an evolving world, and I just want there to be space for all of us in it.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Okay. And then I think it's Avima.
Yeah. I've grown up in El Sobrante, and I live near the Bristlecone Drive stop for the bus. And as someone who isn't medically able to drive a car, maintaining access to the bus route is really critical for me to be able to access both the medical care I need with getting transit towards Kaiser Richmond, as well as just interacting with the rest of the world and having some transit away from my house. Especially as a Clipper Start user, I can't afford any of the ride share or anything basically but the bus. And so it's really critical for me to maintain that access.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you all just getting an opportunity to hear a little bit about yourselves and who it is, who are my neighbors from El Sobrante. So I'm Jovanka Beckles, and yeah, I was a former Richmond City Council member. I'm on the AC Transit Board, and I'm also now running for California State Senate, this district. But I am here in my capacity as an AC Transit director. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see. Staff helped me prepare a PowerPoint for you. And I am not the most computer savvy myself, but I think we'll be able to get through this. Let's see. Okay.
I have given you access to share your screen.
Okay,
And I
great.
would like to disclose that I have endorsed Jovanka for her campaign running for a Senate seat in California.
Thank you. That's right. Let's see now. Okay, let's try this. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I should be able to share it now. Can you all see that? Or did I not? Maybe I didn't. It's possible I did not share it.
Not yet.
I
Not yet.
don't see it
Okay.
yet.
Okay, let's see here.
I missed the question that we were answering when we introduced ourselves, but I want to say that it's an awkward thing having some of this valley be City of Richmond and having some of us be an unincorporated territory. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that some people in the active roles that you guys are in are aware that we are different, but we are also the same.
Absolutely. That's right. That's right. It's always been so weird. I have a neighbor. I live in the Richmond Heights. And I have a neighbor up the hill, a little farther up the hill, whose backyard is Richmond. Front yard is unincorporated. It's bizarre. I don't even know how that works. But they can't vote in Richmond Richmond elections, which is not fair because they are, right? Their property is part of their property is Richmond, and they should be able to get a say, in city politics and what their city's doing. So it's really bizarre. All right, let's try this again. So, all right. So can you all see that?
Yes, accepted.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. So, AC Transit is in the middle of what we call a realign program where looking to see what works, what doesn't work. And if you all have not had that, I think the Richmond City Council did get that presentation. So I don't know if any of you watched the council meeting when that presentation was shared, but in essence, it was an opportunity for residents throughout the Bay Area to get an opportunity to provide feedback on what works and what doesn't work, feedback on line closures or potential projected line closures, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, ways that AC Transit can better provide service, for the service to be consistent and on time. And so we're now going to be in phase 3. So that portion where feedback was taken is already over. If you weren't able to participate, unfortunately, now it's in phase 3. So I'm hoping that the city of Richmond will be able to hear the presentation. So this is what we're calling the service planning and performance. This is an update on that. And I asked specifically about El Sobrante and the area. And one question that Sohaila mentioned was that there was a line that did go to Orinda, and I asked staff about that. So we'll go through some of that today. So we just want to look at some of the map, the service map, the lines, ridership by lines, overall ridership, and then we can discuss. Just have a discussion, but questions as well if you have questions. So here we are, the transit service that we have in Richmond, that in essence covers the El Sobrante area, like San Pablo Dam Road. So the 70 goes, from Marine to San Pablo Dam Road, Appian Way, the 70. So that's this light line right here. And then let's see, it doesn't blow up to show exactly the streets that route takes, but as you can see, it's a fairly long route. Then you've got the other lines that doesn't necessarily affect you all, but just as an FYI. So we have the 71 that goes from Parchester to Rumrill, the 72 from Hilltop to the College to San Pablo, the 72M, which goes down McDonald Avenue to San Pablo, the 72R, which is a line that staff is considering cutting, but I have gotten a lot of comments from Richmond residents asking AC Transit not to cut that line, because it really is one of the lines that a lot of people prefer, because there are less stops. But then again, here we have the 74, which goes San Pablo Dam Road on over to 73rd Street. Let's see. So more services. Again, these don't necessarily affect you all, but you can just kind of get an idea of just the overall Richmond service. And one of you, I can't remember, I know it's one of the ladies mentioned, I need to be able to get to Kaiser. So, these are the different lines that goes throughout Richmond. The 376 cutting in North Richmond at night, the 800 Richmond to, it's a Trans Bay line. The L and the LA are all both Trans Bay lines. So if you're interested in going to San Francisco, those are the lines that one would take. Again, it's pretty much, this looks redundant, right? Because these are the same. It's just not the map, but more of just the written out aspect of those lines, and how frequent they actually come. So let's see if we find, let's see if San Pablo Dam Road is on here, because then that would be the that which goes through El Sobrante. Was the
74,
74.
it
There it
says,
is. Yeah,
yeah.
every 30 minutes. So yeah, Castro Ranch Road goes to the Richmond Ferry, Hilltop Mall, and the frequency is every 30 minutes. So that one is the 74 that I believe affects El Sobrante, your area.
Yes, the proposed cutting back of it means that I can no longer walk from my house to the bus stop, because it would make it like a 20+ minute walk.
Oh gosh, yeah. So that's not acceptable. And one of the things that I'd mentioned to Sahaya when I had a chance to talk to her a little bit about this, was that this staff has they're very skilled at what they do, and so really appreciate. This is a lot of work, so really appreciate the hard work that went behind this realignment. I tell you what, but for myself and the other directors, it's really important for us to hear from people who actually use it and how it affects your life. Like you're just now, you're telling me, that's going to go to a 20-minute walk, which if you are, you have any kinds of, if your other why, if you have other abilities, have some disabilities, then that would be really challenging, right? For someone like you, and we have to hear that. So let's see, I'm gonna what happened? There is nope, I must have shared the wrong one with you, because there was a slide. I think I may have shared the wrong one with you. Let me stop this for a moment and go back and find that, because there's a slide that talks about what happened. It had to do with a grant. Let's see. Yeah, I think I went to the wrong one. So Claudia, it had to do with a grant that the AC Transit actually had at one point. Presentation. Here we go. Yes, this is the one I wanted to share with you. I apologize. I did share the wrong one. So let me just pull that up, and appreciate your patience with me here. Let me try sharing that again. That was not the one I wanted to share with you, although hopefully it had some good information for you. Nope, that's not it. What did I do here? Nope. Oopsie daisy. Oh, stop that. Oops. Okay. Let's see. Oops. How did I switch over? I've got 3 different emails, and that one switched over to my Okay, that was. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. So, so this has a lot to do with ridership. Again, this is more about just information, FYI. Some of it it actually applies to you, some of it may not. But just so to give you a little information about just the district itself, about ridership, 65% of people who ride AC Transit are low income, 75% are people of color, 29% limited English proficiency, 27% of the riders are traveling to work, and 30,000 students trips to and from school every school day. So that's a lot. It's a lot of riders who are students. Now during the pandemic, ridership, as you can see, right, went down. 40% of the riders made an essential trip. 15% of the riders identified as an essential worker. 43% of the riders do not have access to a car. Let's see. So AC Transit still being, we are still being affected by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the conditions that arose around that. People were working more remotely. People are somewhat still doing hybrid work. But we are facing what is called, a fiscal cliff. And so with approximately $144 million in the next several years, a deficit of that much. And so fare revenue is returning, but slowly. And it's still actually below pre-pandemic levels. So this is what I shared with you early, the line. But here's the information that applies to you that I really wanted to share. So the line, this is the former service to Orinda BART and what happened. So the Line 74 extension that was previously provided, it was provided through a grant from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. And it was actually just a pilot. And so this service, it provided service from Richmond BART to Orinda BART. And because it was a pilot and because it was contingent upon a grant from the from BACMAC, the Bay Area Air Quality Management, and that grant dried up, it was discontinued in 2008 when the pilot ended. So that seems like such a long time. And so hey, it sounds like, from your recollection that it seemed like it hadn't been that long. Is that right?
I don't have a good memory. Don't rely on my memory, but I remember it was there and not anymore.
I am the same way. I do things and I'm like, oh yeah, wasn't that last year? And my spouse will be like, no, honey, that was 2000. I'm like, what? So time flies for me.
It does.
So yeah, so it was discontinued in 2008 because the pilot ended. So Western Contra Costa County, this redesigned Line 70 provides additional service to, on high demand, on cutting corridor with more frequent weekday services of the Line 74. Coverage is retained in El Sobrante Hills on the Line 74. So I wanted to, I mentioned that. So now it's according to this draft, the realignment, the realign project, that it looks like coverage is going to be retained in El Sobrante Hills, but it sounds like you're saying, but nevertheless, it's still going to be, it'll be such that it's going to require that you walk 20 minutes farther. But before I get to that comment and question, these are the upcoming realignment, the realignment feedback opportunities. January 24th at 5 o'clock is going to be our next board meeting, and there's going to be updates. So that might be an opportunity for you all to call in, and express your concerns to the entire board about the challenges, so that staff can answer your questions. They won't answer it because comments they won't answer back, but we can, as a director, I can definitely bring that question back up. Like, well, one of the callers mentioned, X, Y, and Z. What's the plan, around that? And then February 7th at 6 p.m., AC Transit virtual workshop is going to be happening. And again, more opportunity to, there'll be more opportunities for your comments and questions. So yeah, that's a little bit about what's happening. This whole fiscal cliff, which is, imminent, it's going to require some cuts. But I think that when there are lines that are, people ride, that are critical to getting to medical appointments, school, etc. I think that those are lines that we have to make sure that, we hear your comments and feedback about. So, I think it may have been you, Rennie, that mentioned that, yeah, that the line will remain, but it means that you're going to have to be walking farther. Is that right? Is that what you mentioned earlier?
That was me.
That was Bobby. Okay.
I don't know, because it was proposed that they were going to cut service back to, I think it was Valley View, but I'm not 100%. Which basically cuts out the end of the loop that I get on the bus at, and there's no other buses over here. There is literally nothing else.
Right.
And so when do we find out if the proposal is going through? Because last I heard, it was you submitted via the AC Transit forum your thoughts on it, and then they were going to think on it, and then at some point they were going to announce. When is that happening?
Well, if according to this, the next update is there have been several updates that's happened since the public submitted comments and questions and ideas. But it looks like the next opportunity for more public comment is January 24th. So that's next Wednesday at 5 o'clock at our regularly scheduled board meeting. So if you're able to attend that, it's, we have a hybrid meeting. So some people come in, but if that's not something that, you can do, you can always join the meeting on Zoom virtually and raise your hand to make a comment and pose some questions that, when I hear it, I'll be sure to make sure that staff is able to, that we all can hear the answer to the question. And again, they won't be able to respond directly because they can't respond directly to public comment. But, I'm hearing your concerns, and, as your representative, that's a question that I would bring up again for you.
Thank
So
you.
it sounds like from what you're saying, it is looking like they are currently intending to cut the 74 shorter.
It's shorter, but not cut it entirely, it looks like. That was my understanding. Yeah.
Shorter is the significant impact. I wonder if there's any way that rather than making it shorter, they could just reduce the frequency, because earlier today at afternoon commute time, the bus had plenty of people on it, so maybe just a little less frequent rather than cutting the length. I don't know.
And that's a great idea, and that's the kind of ideas that I think deserves to be heard. Like, so staff that, as a resident, as a rider, that you deserve to be heard. And so I would encourage you to come to that meeting, and after the presentation, the public will have an opportunity to make a comment on the presentation. So that would be your opportunity to share that. I think that's a great idea. Staff is always open to ideas and feedback from the public. So that would be wonderful to have you share that with the entire board as well as the staff. Yes. So yeah.
So I want to vent a little bit, but I'll do it gently.
Oh, I can take it.
Okay, so my neighborhood is Carriage Hills, Castro Heights, and there are several hundred homes here. We're kind of on the edge of what's Richmond and El Sobrante 94803 area. Right now, to get before the changes, the current line 74 stops down by Olinda Elementary School.
Okay,
To
yes.
get there from my house, if I don't drive, it's a 35-minute walk. And a good portion of that is without sidewalks. So you're just walking on the shoulder over a hill on Castro Ranch Road. If they move, so that right now is usually out of the question.
Exactly.
If they cut the service back to Valley View, that would add probably another 15 to 20 minutes to the walk. If I had, I have a car, so I'm venting a little on behalf of my community. But if I were mobility challenged, it would be out of the question.
Yeah.
Two more little things. One is, in order to get to my closest BART station, which is Orinda, I have to get a ride or I have to drive. There's just no transit there. And a lot of us do a lot of shopping in Pinole. All the little Pinole Valley Road, all the shopping centers by the freeway, totally inaccessible. And yet it's just like a 6 or 7, 10-minute drive. So I know that we probably take lower priority than those who are relying on it for work or who are low income. And there's not, this area is probably more prosperous than not, but still it would be nice to have even, once or twice a day kind of service. So
Yes,
that's my 3 or 4 cents.
Thank you. And one of the things that staff mentioned was the reason why it was a pilot and, through a grant to Orinda, what it was able to happen because of the grant, but technically, legally, AC Transit that's not a part of the line. So Orinda, that would actually be more West Cat. And so also West Cat covers Pinole and those areas. So I think that's probably what's going on, why there's not a connection from where you are to Pinole, because technically that's that's supposed to be covered by West Cat. So but I really do think that there has to be better coordination. The Bay Area has 27 transit districts. That's mind-blowing. And they're all individual districts. So, one of the things that, that I talk about is I really believe that there has to be better coordination with all 27, even if there's one, what would be like a manager, one sort of transit manager that would help all of these districts to be able to better collaborate, better, connect. So I really think that if we want to get people out of their cars, we have to make it accessible. So people need to be able to get from A to B seamlessly, even if it means the fact that you're carrying over into other transit districts. It should still be able to be seamless. You should still be able to just make one payment, right? If we're serious about getting people out of their cars, because right now with 27 different transit agencies that are operating independently, completely independent, that makes it really challenging for folks who are trying to do their part, right, to get out of their cars. And a couple of our directors had a chance to go to Europe and saw how that system over there works. It's seamless there, and so I really think that I'd like to see us work more on helping us in these areas to not have it to be so challenging. Like, oh, AC Transit doesn't go to that part of Pinole, but WestCat does. So how can we have a better, coordinated system that helps you to get from where you live without having to walk 34, 35, 40 minutes just to get to where you need to. So that's one of the things.
If I might interrupt, even if we're staying within the bounds of AC Transit's current mission and charge, we're still not served at all in my neighborhood. Literally, right now it's a 35-minute walk. After the proposed change, it would be closer to an hour walk, some of which has no sidewalks,
right?
Some of which is, over a significant hill. That's,
wow.
I can do it, but not everybody can, and I don't think that really fulfills what the charge is for AC Transit. So that's my feedback and do with it what you will, and I'll try to attend the future meetings.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
that to me, that's kind of a big bald spot or whatever you want to call it in the service.
I agree, and I really appreciate you sharing that comment with me. And I really think that the other directors as well as the staff who are leading this this project, it's really important that they hear that feedback. And I want to encourage you all to provide them with that feedback, because it really makes a difference. There was staff had, just in their wisdom, they felt that ending the line 80 that used to go down Ashby was a good decision. And folks in that community came and they wrote us, and they came every 2 weeks when we met, and they commented, and they organized their neighborhoods and their community. And what I did, I as a result of that being heard, I directed staff to research ways for us to bring back a line. Now, it may not be the 80, but let's bring something back, because all of these people shouldn't be left without transportation. And it happened. I made that. I made that suggestion, and I wrote a report for staff to look into it. And it was because of the pressure, not just me wanting this, but the pressure from the community that now there's a line running down Ashby again. So I really want to encourage you all that, to know that your voices, would be heard, but the only way for it to be heard is you have to come out and write and use it.
I
I
would
want
like,
to,
sorry.
oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Thank you. What I wanted to say is, I really appreciate you wanting to hear from people, but I only found out about this meeting because somebody I know shared an email that somebody had gotten, and I don't know what the better mechanisms are to inform the community that there are opportunities for input, because my suspicion is there's a whole lot of people, because once I found out about this, I mentioned it to some other neighbors who were interested but couldn't participate because they hadn't heard about it until 20 minutes before it started. And so I don't know, like I said, I don't know what the outreach mechanism is, but in order to effectively get input from the community needs to be better informed that there are opportunities for input, which is why I appreciate you letting us know about an additional opportunity, which sounds like it's largely after the fact. And if as a world, we want to encourage public transit from a global perspective in terms of environment, et cetera, then even people who have cars, sometimes the car needs to go to the shop, or they don't want to use the car all the time. And so having that opportunity is important. But again, I think we need to find a better way to inform the public that there are opportunities for input.
Thank you, Rainey. I just put my email address there. You want to give me your email address and be on my mailing list, and encourage other neighbors to be on my community email address, mailing list, so you learn in time. Another thing, I usually keep the community updated about everything that's going on that I'm aware of. So please subscribe to my email, the mailing list. But I wanted to let you know, I am a member of the WECTAC, that's West Contra Costa County, West Contra Costa Transportation Advisory Committee.
Yes.
I actually learned about Line 74, invited Jovanka. I had no idea you had all these issues in my community with transportation. I'm glad you spoke up. I learned about it. I put my email address there. If you don't have my email address, write to me and I'll forward them to WECTAC, and I'll share the issues. One of the things that the city of Richmond, for example, has is for people like Avima who needs to go to Kaiser, they provide lift rides, a certain number of tickets. You can have your own personal ride, and the county has started some seamless services. I need to learn more about it, but if you send me email with your specific issues and other requests in general, like Zia did, I think having a bus to Pinole Shopping Center is an awesome idea. And I've seen the bus coming all the way to Pinole, going up on Wright Avenue. Well, they could come a little to Castro Ranch too. I'll be happy to share your suggestions, comments, problems, ideas with WECTAC. Our meetings are usually, I think, on the last Friday of the month. I'll try to remember to share the Zoom link where you can come and make public comments on my next community email. Please come and share, or at least just send me an email and I'll share it with WECTAC. I think these are very important. I had never thought of all these. Though bus 74, I knew about it because when, in addition to what Zia said, Jovanka, about having a long distance to walk, I live in El Sobrante Hills, so add a slope to it. It's going to be really hard. We live in the hills. When we have, you know, an immigrant family coming, living with us for 6 months or a year until they can stand on their own feet, they have to use the bus service, and it's really too much.
Yeah, that's right. I agree. Yeah. And you know, there are some really good comments here. I do hope to see you and hear those comments again. And let's, you know, let's work together and see what we can do because the goal really is to get folks out of their cars. You know, the state of California has, you know, a climate goal of reducing, you know, our greenhouse, our carbon footprint, and reducing our greenhouse gases. And you know, to meet that goal, there's so many different ideas or proposals and policies. But one of those is, the state has to fund, you know, public transit so that it can be expanded and not cut. So we're you know, because that goes against the goals of reducing our greenhouse gases. So I really do want to thank everybody for your voice, and thank you, Soheya, for putting this together. This is, I hope it was informative and that you know, folks can feel empowered to do something.
Of course, my pleasure. So Diane has a question that I don't understand what exactly she's asking. Is there an option like Emeryville, go around for Kaiser to BART or shopping areas?
Yeah, this is Diane. They have a bus that will take you from the Emeryville BART station and take you over to like Emery Bay, or it just, you know, it's just a free service. So I was wondering, and they have one to Kaiser in Oakland. Do they have anything like that available to the Richmond Kaiser from the BART, or like the Pinole, like you say, park and go, or just something where there's the Pinole shopping areas to help people?
Oh, not that I'm aware of. The only thing that I am aware of, that like there's the Richmond, it's called, what is it, Richmond Go Around, the Richmond Rides, what is it? Yeah, I can't think of the name right now, but yeah, they give you know, free to low cost service from, say, BART to different parts of Richmond, right? Is that right? Are you familiar with that one, Celia?
I know that Oakland
Richmond
has a
Move.
line, for example,
Yes,
yes, Richmond,
Richmond
but
Move, yes.
Oakland has a free line that businesses pay for mobility of people in downtown. I don't know if she's referring to that one or not, but I'm thinking, as Zia suggested, maybe we can partner with businesses, shopping center in Pinole to have
Exactly,
line
because I think
extended.
that's exactly right, Soheya, because I think that's what they do in Emeryville. You know, that's how they got that free Emeryville Go Round. The businesses, you know, pay for that service. And so that's why it's free to the public, because they want you to get a ride to, you know, to their shopping area. So maybe something like that could be explored, you know, with the Pinole businesses and so forth.
That'd be nice if AC Transit could initiate that, like the line that runs through Pinole Valley Road would be extended at the expense of the businesses. Covered the tail of El
mhm.
Sobrante Hill so people could
Hmm.
go there. That'd be awesome.
Ah, okay. I like how we're thinking here. I like that. It's a good
And there's a
idea.
park and ride there, so that'll be good.
Uh,
People could park right there
uh-huh.
by the gym, I believe. But yeah, the one from Emeryville has been going on for a long time, and
Has.
it's been very helpful for people with transportation concerns there.
That's right.
I
Right.
believe the Kaiser Richmond shuttle that goes from Richmond BART to Kaiser is run by Kaiser, much like their one from MacArthur BART to their Oakland stations. So it
Okay,
is a Kaiser specific shuttle that has no connection to any of the other public transit.
Mhm, mhm.
okay.
It'd be great if Pinole Kaiser had a shuttle, a local area shuttle, wouldn't it?
Mhm,
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
closest one for some of us. It's, for me,
mhm,
it's just 10 minutes away, whereas Richmond is 20-25 minutes.
I
mhm.
would love to be able to go to Kaiser Pinole, but I have zero access. I have to go to Richmond.
Yeah, there's literally no public transportation to
Right.
the closest center for all, for everything.
Folks, yeah.
That's an excellent idea, actually. We need to explore it. So Jovanka, if you could follow up on that, that'd be awesome. So
right.
businesses and Kaiser
Yes,
partner with AC Transit for adding a little loop.
a little loop. All right. Okay, I'm get my little.
That'd be awesome.
Yes, okay. I'll definitely look into that. That's a great idea. So loop.
Yeah, and
Shuttle.
I'll share it with Pinole's mayor, Maureen Toms.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
next time I see her, I'll share the idea with her and hopefully she can share with businesses and encourage them to set up something. It's to their advantage and to our advantage.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, we need to have more community meetings and share our problems and energy and brainstorming here.
Yes, that's right. Like in Emerville. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've written a note and I'm gonna look into that. I think that's a great idea. Absolutely. Okay. Well, I better get going.
Thank you very
Thank you
much
so
for
much.
coming, Jovanka. We really
Sure, pleasure.
appreciate it. And thank you everyone for coming and sharing the issues.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.